So welcome, Cindy. Thank you for so much for giving us your time today.
Oh, thank you for asking us. It's wonderful, wonderful to be here.
So, question number one, how did you get started on this path of channeling?
Well, it starts for everybody differently. And for me, I was always interested, and after you start doing it, you look back and you see how it all kind of progressed throughout your whole life. You just didn't know it. Excuse me. So, I was in advertising for many, many years, and I sat down one night on my laptop to write an article, and I was thinking about what I was going to say, and all of a sudden, I just started typing, and it was a letter, and it started, "Dear Cindy," and I just started typing. It was the oddest thing, but I was so curious about it. It was so interesting to me, and it went on for several pages, and it was a story about me. No, I haven't read it, and that happened in 2009, so it's been a while. Um, but ever since then, that was my beginning of a new path. It just started, and then it was every night, and it was every single night, and sometimes in the mornings too. And then it switched to all mornings. For years, it's just been evolving, just evolving, and it's just gets more and more fun all the time. The more you expand and believe it, you have to believe it and really understand what it actually is.
So, what was life like prior to you being on this path?
It was, when I look back now, pretty boring. I was very vulnerable. I had no idea about any of this, so I was living like most of us live, unaware of my creative power. So I wasn't happy more than not. And every time I got something good would happen, I was so excited for about 2 or 3 minutes. And then I was like covering my head, when is the other shoe going to drop? Because I'd been creating it my whole life. And of course, I didn't know. So it was a lot of painful relationships and just going with the flow, never really made any plans. I mean, it was just odd being here. And now I understand.
So, I did listen to a couple of your interviews. You did mention that before you started on this path, you did go kind of, I guess you hit rock bottom, like some
Oh,
people would.
yeah. Yeah.
So would
Big.
you, I don't want to go take you back there, but this is for
Oh,
people that
that's fine.
maybe are going through that right now.
Yeah.
Would you be able to kind of
Sure.
um,
Yeah.
give us some
It's not
details?
painful. It's not painful anymore. I look back at that from a very different perspective, But at the time, I had everything was going pretty good, really, for me. I was having a lot of fun. I was living, I had just gone through my third divorce, and I was living a great life. Very free. I had a lot of friends. I was doing a lot of partying. This was back in 2003, and just having a great time. But there was something, I started to see the doors begin to close. Like, we had a business together, and he sold his part, and I stayed on for a while. Then they consolidated the business, and I was let go. And that's really the whole thing that started it. Um, and it was right before summer. So I said, "This is great. I'm going to take the summer off and just play." And I never had problems getting a job before. It was always in a flow. I just would fall in my lap. It was great. So I never thought that I would have a hard time. Well, I did. And when fall came and my money was running low, um, I started looking for a job. And since I was a business owner, I didn't know anybody. I knew a whole other industry than advertising. So it was just a long thing. And it just went downhill from there. I finally got a job, hated the job, got laid off. It was an agency. They lost the client, last in, first to go. that kind of stuff. And so that's when the shift really began for me, though. It was a horrible experience at the time, very scary for me because I had no one to lean on, really. I was living in a different city from my family, and it was just really odd. And I found myself finally laying on the floor of my beautiful loft in a high rise and bawling for like 2 weeks. I just didn't, I was so lost. Never had felt that before, just so lost. And I finally, I was laying there crying for like 2 weeks. It was ridiculous. And I looked up and I said, and I was really screaming, "You forgot about me." So that's when things started to change. And the next morning, I was in my bed, and I always go to sleep with the TV on. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up to Joyce Meyer, who is a minister, a Christian minister, um, who was very powerful on TV, probably still is. Back then, had a huge following, and she was teaching the Bible, and she just has this way about her. She's very approachable almost. She's one of us, and she was funny. I found, anyway, I had never known who she was before, but I woke up to her saying, God has a purpose for your life. And if you're still here, you haven't found it yet, or something to that effect. And it shifted me. Something in me shifted. And I started paying attention to her, and I was watching her all the time, and things began to change. And it's a long story. It's a 20 some year old story, but that's where it all started. And then that's when I kind of really got into Christianity for about 3 years. It was the introduction to, because I was raised Catholic, so I didn't know anything but to fear God. I really didn't know anything. So they took me through teaching me love, I assume, and then Jesus, started in with me, and I heard the audible voice a few times, like 5 times. So I was beginning to unfold. That's how I see it now. It was a shift. It was time for me to move forward in my true purpose. I was bouncing off the walls up until then, you know. So it was pretty interesting. Now I look back on it, of course, with love. It's beautiful.
So what is your process when you channel?
Well, that's another unfolding because when I started to channel, I was writing, I was writing on my laptop, and then it moved, it shifted to now we want you to speak. And I was fine with that, but I had never done it. So I started looking to teachers of mine, other channelers, and some go into a trance, and most of them go into a quiet meditation for a few minutes or a minute, whatever it is. And so I began copying them, trying to do it like that. And it never worked. It was so uncomfortable. And I kept telling Joseph, there's something wrong. And all they kept saying was, Cindy, you don't need to do that. All you need to do is focus. And it took me a while to get that through my head. I mean, a couple of years to
Now,
feel
when
comfortable in it.
when they say to focus, what do they mean? Like, how were you supposed to focus? Like,
Well, I'm focused, well, that was the question I had too. What are you talking about? And what it boils down to is to we need to focus on our soul vibration in order to hear it. You can't hear your soul or an expanded realm unless you expand to include it in your vibration. It doesn't recede. It doesn't come into the third dimension because it's contrast here and there's no vibrational agreement. So you have to most people would say, raise your vibration to be in alignment with what you want to hear, like tuning the radio station. You have to be lined up with that frequency in order to experience it. So that's what you focus. So you focus on love. You focus on love, and the doors begin to open.
so then how do you focus on love? Do you meditate? Do you just think of something that you love? Is that like an
That's how
example
I
you
started.
okay,
Everybody does it different.
okay.
Some people because this is a good question, because I had the same one. I said, how do you, what do you mean? Every time I've been in love, I got screwed, what the, and so it was very different, which led into a whole nother teaching, which was pretty cool about love. But yes, they said to me, focus on the things that bring you joy. Surround yourself with things that bring you joy in my living space. And I began doing that, and it makes a huge difference. I love walking in every single room because it's an expression of something that I love. So this is how you begin to focus on shifting your vibration to be dominantly creating from your soul vibration. Then you're creating from the space of love in every aspect, channeling or decorating or working. It doesn't matter. It's an experience of love then.
So it's that simple. Like I think we make it very
Not simple.
complicated. We try to
We
look
make it
for,
okay. Oh, yes. Yes. I did too. In the beginning, I was saying, how come I don't look like that guy? Or how come, and people were saying, she's not channeling. So what we are exampling is what we are teaching, is the shifting of the physical vibration that's in alignment with the third dimension, keeps us tethered here. It's what we have. And we've been collecting and evolving that vibration of us since we stepped foot in this dimension thousands of years ago. It remains where there's vibrational agreement, but we are always our soul vibration of love, always. But we've been in the contrast for so long, we are dominantly creating from that focus. That's where we're focused. That's why we have war. That's why we have everything that's not in alignment with love. That's why relationships, don't last, which is a whole nother subject too, because they last exactly the right amount of time. But that, we're attracting from the contrast dominantly.
okay.
And that's when you create those out of alignment experiences or fearful experiences. You cannot create an experience of love from the contrasting position. So you have to shift, and this is a conscious shift that we're going through. This is how we move into the vibration of the new earth, by becoming in alignment with it, which means we have no frame of reference for this shift at all, because we have never lived dominantly in love.
Is that what's happening around the planet right now? Like
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
lot of craziness, fear, division, hate.
Yeah.
So we are going through the shift, which to the third
Oh,
dimension, the fourth dimension, or the
to
fifth?
the fourth, ultimately the fifth. Well, ultimately, infinity. But for this human aspect, for us, this aspect of the soul is evolving into a new realm of experience. The third dimension offers a perspective of contrast. It's not bad. It's just not in alignment with who we, as the physical aspect, really are vibrationally. You have to think in terms of vibration. So we dive in here as a new aspect of the soul, and our purpose is to expand through the contrast. It's a journey of understanding. And every time we come back, we have expanded, because every time we experience love, or any aspect experiences love, the universe expands. First and then our soul, it's all simultaneous. So our soul expands from the love of all of its aspects, and it's an eternal journey. So this is just one experience we're having in this realm. And when we move, we're choosing our way out of it now that we know we can. No, we're starting to understand our energetic power, and the power we have, and how and why we create the realities that we do, like the wars and the famine and the abuse and everything. It's all, every single experience that's had here in the contrast is an experience of contrast. It's an experience of out of alignment choosing.
So we always have a
So
choice.
always, in every moment, you're choosing whether you know it or not, because you're choosing by way of your focus, because your focus is always on a vibration. You're always in alignment with something, and it's either love or contrast. And under those two, we say there's two umbrellas. There's no limits to either one, but this is how we try to visualize it. There are two umbrellas. And under each umbrella, there are unlimited probabilities and possibilities for manifestations and experiences. We're always creating an experience, whether it's emotional, physical in our body, a car, a job, whatever it is. But it's the experience that we're creating, and the focus is what we are asking the universe to give us. So the vibrational agreement is always perfect. That's why everything is perfect, because vibrational agreement is universal and it's never off and it's always perfectly timed.
So you're never off the path. You're always on your paths. Would you,
Well,
whether it,
you're always on your path, but you are, it depends on what you're in alignment with. You're always on your soul's path, but you can't see that path, nor can you experience that path when you are out of alignment with that vibration. So you can picture it like this. You're leaving New York and you're driving to Los Angeles, and that pathway can be very direct if you focus on the next step, the next step, the next step, and allowing the guidance, which in that would be a map, GPS, whatever it is, get me there the fastest, the fastest, safest way. But most of the time, our GPS system is what Esther refers to it as. Our GPS system is our vibrational acuity. It's our vibrational understanding, because we are creating our experience of the path. The path is eternal. So when you are not in alignment, and we bump in and out, we jump in and out all the time, but we're dominant in the contrast. Fourth dimension, we're dominant in the soul. And that's like the downhill slide into the new earth vibration, because then you're attracting naturally. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Uh, what were we talking about? I forgot what I was saying.
GPS
What was
system?
Oh, the GPS system. Yeah. So it's your vibrational, the first indication that you ever receive from either your soul aspect or your loving ego aspect are your emotions, your emotional response to whatever it is. And if you are choosing a focus, you, the aspect, are choosing a focus that's out of alignment, you experience by way of your beautiful ego, who's giving you a negative response, telling you you're out of alignment. Soul can't give you that. And so that's the point of deciphering, what am I creating here? Because if you're focused on an out of alignment thought, experience, whatever it is, and your perspective of it is in the contrast, then you are calling from the universe, calling to you a matching vibration of that focus. And when the universe delivers that, you have a manifestation. It's a vibrational agreement. And it manifests in your experience. And your emotion is the first manifestation of where you are aligned.
And how long would you say you need to focus in order to manifest? Or it doesn't matter, there's no.
Well, that's an out of alignment question, and we'll tell you why. Okay, so this is funny you brought this up. Doesn't matter. Anyway, when you bring a third dimensional component into a fifth and higher, into a spiritual evolutionary idea, you're out of alignment with it, because there's no time there. The question really would be, how do I? Not how long does it take? How do I do it? So when you're focusing on love, you open the door. When you're focusing on love, and when you see something that triggers something that's out of alignment, we're seeing a lot of that these days, right? A lot of pissed off people out there. When you see something like that, in that moment, you have an opportunity to choose the perspective of your soul or the perspective of the contrast, which is what is dominant right now. But it's dominant. However, you can always tell too what's happening vibrationally in our world, and it's universal, but in our world. So when we're seeing more and more darkness, that is indication that we are also getting more and more light. And you can tell by the what some people are calling, and it is moving in that direction, gaining momentum all the time, this mass awakening of humanity, people coming to terms with truth and actually seeking out truth in many areas, not only spiritually, but they're starting to understand that they look at something and they say, wait a minute, this is not supposed to be like this. And they make some kind of connection with their soul because now they want to see something different that doesn't feel bad. And then the opportunities for that expansion present themselves because now you're seeking from the place of alignment. So it's not a when, it's a how do I do it? What do I focus on? And you begin that process because it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody. We are so unique. Our fingerprints are manifestations of our vibrations, our unique vibrations.
You mentioned Joseph. Who is Joseph?
We are a collective of teachers who have been working with Cindy for many, many, many lifetimes, all to this end, which uh, is she's struggling because we said that the end because it really is can be perceived by the human collective as an ending of the third dimensional experience, but it's really a transformation of the human aspect. And this is what we teach, the evolution of humanity, really. So you're ending your experience because of your expansion. And this happens over a long time. You've been doing it since you got here. So you're ending an experience because you are shifting, choosing consciously to shift your vibration to match a different realm. And so when you're not a vibrational match to the third dimension, or any dimension for that matter, you can't be there. So that's the whole point of your journey of every realm of consciousness, is to move through it and expand.
So now I have just a question regarding that. So do we have to leave this physical body to go to the next dimension, or are we can still experience that while in this body?
Well, the fourth dimension is what we refer to as the bridge. And it is an experience where, and it will happen uniquely. Again, everything is unique to every single aspect. So we'll put that as an asterisk down there. But and you'll begin to experience this, of course, as you are in the process of consciously shifting to be dominant in your soul vibration. Your body, this human body, is a manifestation also of your physical vibration. It's your physical vibration, the one you've been collecting all these lifetimes. Excuse me. Sorry,
It's
I'm
okay.
talking a lot lately. Um, So when you become dominant, so our bodies right now are manifestations that are dominant in the contrary and out of alignment. That's why people get sick, because you're out of alignment. Your body, when you are focused on fear and not getting sick, you are calling that vibration to you, the fearful vibration. So, and it will manifest ultimately if you don't shift and create a new momentum. So we are in this realm of contrast, creating a vibrational manifestation of it. As your vibration shifts to accommodate the more expanded realms where there is no density. Now, in the fourth dimension, there is density. We bring it there, but it's not dominant. So our bodies begin to change to reflect what our vibration is. So there's no illness, no sickness, no immune system in the fifth dimension because there's no need for it. There's nothing to fight off. There's nothing we need to protect ourselves from because there's no resistance. There's no fear. So there's nothing that can cause an out of alignment body. So we will transform our body. And when we get into the new earth, we will have a body and it's going to be unique. I've asked this before and what popped in my head, what I was I say I was shown. I don't know if yeah, they showed to me. It was kind of, my translation of it was kind of translucent, you know? It was a beautiful, ghost-like, beautiful, angelic kind of manifestation, still physical, but to the degree that dominant in the soul with no denseness. It was
So it's
beautiful. So we'll find out when we get there, I guess.
so it's light body, right? That's what people are calling it. We're going to be light
Yeah,
body
some sort
eventually.
of light body. Who knows? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, why is it important that we shift in perspective from the third dimension to the fourth?
Well, you don't have to. You can hang out in the third dimension as much as you want. Every aspect that has chosen to visit here will evolve through it. Could be 10,000 years. There's no time. So it's an aspect evolving that evolves the soul. The overall collective purpose of humanity being here is to expand the soul vibration of love. And we do that by discovering it. For us, this is a journey of discovery. And it's the discovering of who we really are as a soul, and then expressing that. And we come here so we can discover how to choose that.
So everyone has their individual journey, and there's no, like, people are saying, a new Earth is coming. We're gonna
It's
move
already
in.
there.
It's already there. So it's just our choice if we want to get on there now or wait down the road. Like, there's
Yeah,
no.
we can, this is it's becoming more and more well, for us who are paying attention, and well, for everybody really, more and more in the collective awareness, the shift that's happening. Like we said before, more and more people are seeking, leaving religions and understanding that they were born free, and they're understanding and they want to know more about that. Of course they do, because that's their path of discovery. That's the path of alignment, is curiosity and guidance from your soul. So, yes, everybody is very unique. And in order to expand the aspect, you have to come back and do it, you know? But you make a decision from a collective perspective, from the perspective of your soul, who's the collective you. And it's always with the intention of expansion of love. The experiences that we create here are our choosing. We get to choose all of our experiences. And now we're starting to understand how we do that. Now, this isn't anything new. Ours is kind of new because we're talking about new earth stuff really, and more about vibrational role in our lives. But this information has been out for ever. Buddha, I mean, Jesus was talking about it, for God's sakes, I mean, so the door, it just continues to open as the collective is readying itself to receive it. But if you're out of alignment with it, if you're not looking for it, you won't experience it. You can't experience a vibration you are not in alignment with.
So how does the collective consciousness of the universe influence our individual consciousness?
How you
The
kind of
collective
you kind of
consciousness
rippled a little bit. I didn't hear the whole question. How does the
so
collective consciousness
of the
influence our
yeah,
individual? Okay.
yes.
Well, first of all, we are the collective consciousness, because that's also, the space of alignment is also the space of oneness. So the more you move into that space, the more you're aware of that, and the more you have opportunity to experience the oneness. So nothing affects you that you are not focused on vibrationally. So you want to give me an example of that? I'm not really sure what you're asking. You're asking if the universe, if God influences us? Is
So
that the question?
so you know how everybody's waking up now. So
Yeah.
it's the collective consciousness,
Mhm.
part of the, God, universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does that impact our individual? Is it like uplifting everyone when
Yes.
everybody's Okay.
Yes. Now, Abraham has been teaching, forever. One in alignment is more powerful than a million who aren't,
Mm-hmm.
because that space of alignment is creating from love the most powerful force in the universe. So, as more and more awaken and understand the um, power that they carry within their vibration of their soul, when you recognize that you are your soul, playing a role. I don't really like that. It's not really playing a role. It's having an experience. So, the soul is having an experience of us. You kind of, for me anyway, I kind of straightened up a little bit and I was like, well, that doesn't seem very loving. That judgment I just made of that person doesn't seem very, and you start to consider different things and it changes you. So the collective vibration we are creating. So yes, as more and more awaken and focus on love more and more and more, then it absolutely affects, it offers the collective more space. It makes room for itself. It just mushrooms, you know people are called. I get so many clients that say, I saw you here, I saw you there, and I don't know why, but I was so led to you. Now we know that because we are calling out our vibration, because we want people to look to someone. We want people to be curious. We want people to seek their soul. you know we come fully equipped when we come in here. We have everything we need inside us, and after we all go through teachers and teachings, and they all get us to a point, and then that point, and it's unique for everybody, you know, at some point you have to say, now I understand, it's been within me all. It's Dorothy. It's the Dorothy syndrome. I had it all along. It was inside me all along, the knowing of that. But that's the journey of discovery that we are here to experience. So we are the collective, and the highest, the dominant vibration always rules in any situation. The dominant vibration rules. We have been dominant in the contrast ever since we got here as a collective, individuals. And now we're starting to shift, and we're starting to see that shift in many, many areas. More people are standing up because they know it's not, it doesn't feel good. It's fearful. And that's our first indication that it's not who we really are. So we
Well,
begin to see, and that's when the collective expands.
so fear is everywhere. Like you turn on the news,
Oh, yeah.
there's fear. People are having
Oh, yeah.
conversation about fear. It's how do you avoid it? Like you just turn everything off and
Yes, yes, you do avoid it. You start by doing that. That's how I did it, because I was very involved for about a year and it made me sick. It was just awful when I realized how out of alignment it was. I was choosing by watching it. I was and then I stopped. I did turn it off, turned it all off. And I said, this is not as important because I do not want to. We have a situation here. We have this shift is happening and it's affecting everything in our global community. And it is, we have referred many, many times to this journey, this segment, certainly as it's a journey and a segment of conscious choosing. You have got to choose your way out. Moving forward out of the contrast doesn't just happen. You have to choose it, because the momentum that we have built as a collective ever since we got here eons ago is so powerful. So many people say to us, it's too hard. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. And yes, and that is the third dimensional perspective. Nothing in alignment is hard, but we have to learn that too. So we begin slowly by removing those vibrations, those available vibrations. We begin to choose consciously. And we say, I don't want to experience that. You have to make a conscious choice. I don't want to experience that. And you turn it off and you
but
focus on something that brings you joy.
but when I realize when I say I don't want that, I get more of it. So the
Well,
re
Yes, when you say I don't want so many examples of this. I don't want cancer. I don't want cancer. I don't want cancer. You are calling that to you because it's a vibration of fear. But when you declare, and I know this because I did it, when you declare, as I was walking up to the TV, I declared, I will not accept this. I think were my words, will not accept this any longer. I made a conscious decision from alignment that I am choosing something else. No, I'm not choosing it from fear. I'm choosing it from love. I'm choosing it for my own vibration. I'm choosing what I prefer. I'm choosing to experience a vibration that I am consciously choosing to focus on. So I went in my studio and I picked up a paintbrush and I turned on I Love Lucy. I mean, seriously, you have these are conscious choices that, some people say, well, I have to know what's going on. Okay, you want to know what's going on? Be an observer. But also, what I say to a lot, and I get that. I get it. There's a lot going on now. Some people are saying, we're watching this movie. Yeah, I'm watching it as a movie. In some places I cover my eyes. But if you want to be involved, shift your perspective about it as an expansion opportunity. It's an expanding opportunity to observe what's going on from a higher perspective. Observe it from the perspective of your soul, which sees expansion, which sees light shining in and exposing darkness. So we can be aware of more, and therefore we can choose consciously not to experience it. You make a choice. You make a choice, a conscious choice. It's not out of fear. It's not from fear. It's a declaration. I am choosing my own experience, and this is how I'm doing it. And then you begin to shift. And when you begin that, you'll find that you are more peaceful and opportunities from that space of alignment begin to come to you. So your request for peace and joy and love in the midst of the contrast is always available. Your focus, your focus, your focus is what calls it to you.
So it seems like I'm out of questions. I think you've answered all of them.
Oh, that's good. That's a
Oh,
good
wow.
thing.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll ask some questions to Cindy, like about her life. So Cindy, um, what is the most important lesson you've learned, like in this lifetime?
Oh, man, self-love. And I still struggle with it, but they've been really teaching me, from the beginning because I don't think I ever felt, okay, here's a lesson I learned. Um, I would say to them, how do you expect me to feel love when I don't know what it feels like? Because every time I thought I was experiencing it, I always got burned, you know? And and this is still unfolding, but what they first told me was, first of all, Cindy, you cannot experience a vibration that you're not in alignment with. And your awareness of what your perspective of what you believe at this point is love is out of alignment. So clear. Everything kind of fell into place. Then I understood why I attracted the guys I did, why the relationships were the way they were. Everything fell into place. I understood it all. And I let myself off the hook. I let all the guys off the hook. Not that I was ever really mad at them. I see how it affected me, my understanding of love, of what love is. And every relationship I see through time, I'm 63, so I've had a lot of relationships. And I see how they have evolved as I have evolved. It was a wonderful lesson for me. And so they said that there are, people say all the time that, when you see people in abusive relationships and they say, well, why do you stay? I love her. I love him. And people say, that's not love. It's not love. Well, it is their understanding of love. Love manifests in many different ways. And even though we view it as abusive, and obviously it is, you know, there is love there. There is love there, a smidge. I mean, they're not, it's their understanding of love. That's why judgment has no place anywhere. because we can never experience what other people experience because it's vibrational. So that would probably be the biggest lesson for me of what love really is. And it's constantly unfolding, constantly.
I have to say one thing. Thank you for sharing your age. You don't look one bit
Oh, thanks.
63.
I always tell, I always say it's because I didn't have kids. I never had any kids. So I didn't have all the angst that goes with that. I see my brothers, and I see my friends with kids, and that just looks crazy to me. I love kids, but I just never had any. So I think that's what it was. But
So,
thank you.
the other question is, so you know how you mentioned we choose as we
Everything.
choose everything. So
Yeah.
now, like this is probably like a third dimension question.
Mm,
So
yeah.
why would when we're born, right? We have that higher consciousness in us. Why would we pick, like to go into a family that's dysfunctional or to experience abuse? Why would we want to pick that? Like if we have a choice to have God, a great experience. Well, there's judgment there. Like
I
if we
understand.
yeah, like if we get to choose, why would we pick that experience?
Right. Well, first you have to understand there's a lot of questions in there, and I'll see if I can hit on all of them, make it clearer, because it's got to think from a vibrational perspective to begin with. Okay, so we know that because that's all we talk about. Um, when you are choosing to come back, you are making the choice from the space of alignment with the intention of expansion of this aspect. Okay, that's first and foremost. That's the foundation of when you choose to come back. Okay, so let's put that over here for a second. Every time we're here, when we're here right now, we die. Okay, I keel over tomorrow, let's say. The vibration that I am right now, my physical vibration that is still contrasting. I have out of alignment beliefs. We all do. It keeps us tethered here, you know. So I have out of alignment beliefs. So the vibration that is in alignment with this timeline in this moment lies dormant there. All the love that I've experienced, which has been a lot because of Joseph, because of this, relationship, goes with me. It's the only thing we take with us. Don't believe it when they say you can't take anything with you. That's what we take with us. Excuse me. We take love. We take the excitement. We take the vibration that is us, that is in alignment with our soul, and we pack it on there. We build the snowman bigger, right? We take it with us. But that physical vibration lies dormant. Let's say, we'll make it up, 10 years later, collective soul. Cindy, you want to go back? Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's finish this. Whatever we say up there. And I hang on to my ego and I said, let's jump in. We get in the sports car and we're down here, right? Soul refocuses on that physical vibration that was left dormant, where there was vibrational agreement for it. I stand up in my tiny little body and I start crying because I'm like, holy shit, what did I do this for? Now I know, right? So then the journey begins. The intention is always expansion. The vibration of the physical contrast is within us. It's part of our vibrational makeup. Again, with the intention of expanding, which means this understanding that we are talking about right now, the understanding that everything I have experienced in every single lifetime since I chose to come here is held within that vibration. And it doesn't matter what the experiences are, they're out of alignment because they're still there, but they're in perfect alignment with the contrast. So our job now, my job now, is to understand that and create new beliefs, new foundation from which to build my entry into my next experience as me, which is consciously choosing to shift my vibration. So the experiences that we have that you would say, why would you ever choose that? Yes. Knowing what we know now, we still do choose it sometimes, but because we get mad, we're here. But what we know now, we make better choices. right? As Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. So as we expand our understanding and our awareness of who we really are, we begin to make conscious choices. I'm turning the TV off now. We make conscious choices knowing that our vibration is the most important thing. And if we feel fear, we must choose something else. That fear is an indication that I am out of alignment and I need to just choose something else to change my experience. So the experiences that we have, there's nothing negative or bad that's ever planned by the soul. That's out of alignment with the soul. But the contrast holds those out of alignment vibrations from which to create those experiences. Now, that's the foundation of how those people say all the time, how can a baby be born with cancer? That is how, because they're coming in. But the journey is to understand that the body has the ability to heal itself. And maybe that baby takes on that. The soul says, this is what we're doing this time. We are going to offer the world the knowledge of how to heal yourself. We're all here to help each other. So we do those. But the experiences that are in the contrast, we choose by our focus. It's a lot of information there, I know, but that's how, we're not in alignment saying how I'm going to go down and experience horrible abuse. It would never happen. There's no thought pattern up there that is in agreement with that. It cannot happen. It's held within the physical vibration that's in the third dimension.
All right, thank you for that.
Did that answer your question?
Oh yes.
I hope so. Okay. All
Thank
right.
you. So
Yeah.
if people are looking to connect with you, where can they find you, Cindy?
Our website has everything, teachingsofjoseph.com. The books are there. Get a little synopsis of them, and then it'll take you to Amazon. You can download, this is important. I would like to stress this for everybody. You can download a PDF copy of the 7 steps of self-discovery and healing. It's kind of like a foundation to create a new belief system that's in alignment. You can just go to the link, the navigation that says 7 steps, scroll down a little bit, you'll see a thing, just click on it and it will download it for you. You don't have to put any information in there. And stick it up on your refrigerator. It's a great learning tool. There's other resources on there, and our quotes are on there. Follow us on Instagram. We post quotes there every day.
I get
So
your daily quotes. I get an
yeah, on
email.
the
What's
daily
that?
quotes, you can
Yeah.
sign up for the email daily quotes there too. Yeah.
And then people
Um,
also can have private sessions with you and Joseph.
yeah. Yeah, we do
Okay,
private sessions. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
And any final message from you and Joseph?
Yeah, we would say relax into your journey, knowing that you are eternal. And once you can shift your perspective to uh, loving yourself first and foremost, but when you begin to shift your perspective to your soul's perspective, vibration, so much comes with it. And when you start to understand that you are living here to experience the physical realm, and to relax into it and get to know who you really are as a soul, knowing that there is no death, that, there's just transformation and new experiences. It's a treasure hunt, it's an adventure that we're on. And it can be a wonderful, beautiful adventure um, if you know how you are creating. So we would stress that because it's important right now. Everything we're doing has got to be conscious, got to be
Thank you.
conscious choice. Yeah.
Well,
You're
thank you
so
so
welcome.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Auntie.